Hi, this is Rod Meldon, the Book of Mormon evidence guy, and we are here in Arlington, Virginia, with a fine cast of wonderful people who were not castaways on the Phoenicia expedition. We have with us, we have Doug and Carson and Vera and Yuri, and they have all been part of the Phoenician voyages. You were on the first voyage and you were on the second voyage, and we wanted to find out a little bit more about what it's like to be on a 600 BC replica Phoenician ship. And so we're going to start off with a couple of quick questions. So just tell us just briefly a little bit about yourselves and which voyage you were on and why you came. So we'll start with you, Doug.
So we're from Utah, and we learned about Philip Beale and his expeditions and thought it was remarkable, and wanted to kick the tire of history, so to speak. We wanted to see what the ancient mariners were all about. So we were on the second expedition, departed from Tunisia in October of 2019.
Fantastic. And who is this young man here?
My son, Carson.
Yeah.
Carson, tell us about yourself. When your dad, who approached you about this? Did he approach you or did you approach him about doing this adventure?
Well, I mean, initially he approached me, and he was kind of asking if I had any interest in sailing this boat across the Mediterranean Sea. And I mean, immediately I'm just like, no? What? Why would I say no to this? This is an incredible experience. I want to do it. So...
Oh, that's awesome. Okay, so how old were you at the time?
At the time, I was 19 years old.
19 years old, and your dad comes to you and said, "Hey, let's go on an adventure together." And when you found out you were going to be going to North Africa, what was your thought?
I was all for it.
So you like adventure?
I love adventure. My dad and I have been on a few together, so it was good to be able to come out and do another one with him.
Yeah. Well, you know, in the Book of Mormon voyages, they had families, and they had older people and younger people and so forth, and that's why I want to kind of get a little more perspective what it would have been like for the people on the voyages in the Book of Mormon, based on how it actually affected you to have your dad say, "Hey, we're going to go on this boat, you know, on this ship." So that's fantastic. Vera, so a little more about you guys, and how did you get to know Philip Beale? Captain Bill.
Well, I'm Vera from Brazil. Yuri and I start to make a research about Phoenician voyagers around the world, because we know in Brazil we have some evidence about the Phoenicians there. And we think, well, let's go to do some project about that. And we start to make, Yuri wrote a book and about that.
What's the name of the book?
Well,
maybe we'll have Yuri talk about the book.
Yes, better.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, and we intend to make this trip. We start to look for partners in Brazil. We talk with Israel and Lebanon for put all together like a peace voyage around the world.
Wow.
Yes, and we make shows about that. We try to find money for this trip and people who want to come together. But in September 11, you know better than us, happens the attack here, the terrorists, and stop everything in the world. And we say, well, let's wait for everything and come again. After that, you think, and we talk about it, said, well, maybe somebody gonna to do this because it's so interesting. And you look, he makes the research, and we found Philip. Philip just started to think about the boat, to building the boat. That's we met him.
So that's how you met Philip. Well, Yuri, tell us a little bit about yourself. You have a very interesting background, and you have a fun career that you do. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, we are movie makers, filmmakers. We had a company in Brazil. We make movies and TV productions for cinema and streaming since 1995. Before that, we lived in different places. We live in Japan. My father Japanese, from my mother's side Italian and Lebanese, so there's some Phoenician blood in me.
Wow.
And we lived in Israel for a few months, 6 months in Israel. We lived in Italy, we lived in England, where we met actually, And then we've been traveling around across a few oceans before that. We lived aboard sailboat for 12 years. So we were sailors before I approached the Phoenician project. Wow. Actually, we are in this trip. In 2000, year 2000, Brazil made 500 years of discovery, official discovery by the Portuguese, right? So there was a big project we developed, we executed from Lisbon, Portugal, all the way to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. So we had a fleet of 39 ships, including a replica caravel from 1500s from Lisbon, and 2 tall ships, the Sagres Portuguese, which is a magnificent ships. Yes, the big tall ships, yeah. Wow. And the Brazilian Cisne Branco. So I had this big expedition, and then for that expedition we wrote a book called Histories and Legends of Discovery. So, okay, we know that Portuguese Cabral crossed the Atlantic, officially discovered Brazil. But before him, anybody else, tried to do this or did this crossing? So we wrote this book. We got published by a nice publishing house in Brazil. It was a bestseller in Brazil, so a few thousand copies. And we got a book award, São Paulo Boat Show. We got a book awards for that, and it was adopted in Brazilian schools. So we spoke about the Crusades, how the Crusaders brought some knowledge maybe from Phoenician times, from Arabs, into Portugal, who launched the whole exploration of the world to Portugal. So, and at that time, of course, Phoenicians are the legends. We research everything, and we thought that would be a cool project to make a Phoenician ship and sail from Lebanon to Brazil to emulate what King Solomon did. It's in the Bible, so 900 BC, older than the Phoenicia actually. And then we even looked about the possibility to go around Africa, but I thought it's too crazy, it's too dangerous. I don't want to go around Africa in a ship. And then, like Sven explained, there was September 11. We actually had started negotiation with Israeli government and Lebanese government to make a world peace project, because in the times of Jerusalem, when they built the temple, the Phoenicians and the Israelis were in peace. Yes. So let's simulate that, let's do this again. And they were okay until September 11 happened. Then they called us and said, oh, sorry, it's totally impossible. And then I thought, somebody would be crazy enough to do this, so let's search. So that's why, like she said, we met Philip.
So you met Philip long before the ship was even built then?
No, it was doing, he was developing already, he was planning to do the ship.
Oh, yes. And that's when you joined up with Philip.
Yeah, and then we joined the expedition as filmmakers to make the documentary and everything that you see.
So you were the official documentary filmmakers for the entire voyage.
Yes.
And the second voyage too.
Yes.
Well, that is fantastic. I think I've shown a lot of little pieces and snippets of some of your buddies when I've done my presentations all around the world.
Can I tell you something? We met you first time in 2019 before the second expedition in Utah, right? On the big air convention.
Conference.
When we got there, we saw our videos on the big screen, like the videos we made 10 years ago. But it was like Twilight Zone. It was crazy. It was fantastic.
Well, that was fantastic. That was many years ago. And there's been a lot of wonderful things that have happened since then. So I want to kind of get into that a little bit more about your experiences. So Yuri, we'll start with you this time. So as a filmmaker, what kind of additional challenges did you face going and doing this? I mean, did you have to hang out of the ship and also just how do you keep the batteries charged and what are the challenges you have?
Okay, the first expedition was before GoPros, right? So we didn't have those action cameras. We had just a little one, it was called Contour, it's not very good. So
but it's work.
Yeah, it's work, of course. That's what we have in the thing. But okay, so there's a rule. When you make a documentary, you go to an indigenous tribe like we do, we go to the Amazon, go to different places, we do a lot of different stuff, fun stuff outdoors. You try not to interfere too much, right? Yeah. So when I got to Philip, like I said, we lived for 12 years aboard sailboat. So we live.
So you know a lot about.
Yeah, we have like 10 ocean crossings or more. We've been through a hurricane and stuff. Yeah. So we're very seasoned sailors we are. But then I came to Philip and said, Philip, so I'm going to make this documentary for the expedition. We're partners in this. Okay, good. But the thing is, I'm a sailor, and Philip had a lot of volunteers. They didn't know how to sail. It was the first time aboard.
Which is to help.
Yeah, for expert. But don't count on me because I'm making the documentary. So if the mast breaks, somebody gets hurt or died, for me it's good because it's more drama for the movie. So don't count on me. He was like, oh, what?
You're pushing somebody off the boat.
As long as I can film, that's fine. And of course, during the expedition, you cannot do that. You have to really interfere. So I have funny stories about that. And so it's So yeah, but it was a challenge to keep this, all the, like I said, the battery charged and keep the cameras.
You use like solar or solar battery?
Generator, we had a generator board and solar. I have some solar panel, but it was like 2008, 2010. So technology wasn't. Yeah.
Wow. All right. So that's you, Vera. So, as one of the few women, there was only a few women that actually came on the ship. What was it like as a woman on the ship?
Well,
With all these stinky sailing men.
well, I've been in the first voyage. When Yuri, it's about 6 months out of house sailing with Phoenicia. And I'm in Brazil and I think I must go. I need to go there to have the same experience because we are almost 35 years together and we do everything together. And okay, I went, I didn't tell him I went to Mozambique. When I arrived, yes.
Surprised him?
Surprise him, yeah. He don't know I'm there.
Yeah.
And I arrived in Mozambique and always Phoenicia, they said, we arrive in the 29th of December. No, they arrive in 2nd of December, always late.
January.
Yeah, in January, yeah, always late. And I met Daniel Elbank, you know, the painter,
Oh, yeah.
the lady, American thing. And we talk a lot, and you know, we take care of us like a woman, because Phoenicia arrived, and we met Alice. She's from the United States too, and Stephanie from England. We are 4th woman together, and you know, like for me, it's okay. I live for 12 years in a sailboat, and we were sailing in many kind of boats, tow ships, Portuguese caravel. But always it's hard because you know to stay in the helm out for 2 hours, like you're sitting and take care of the compass, the way you cannot lose the weight because it's normal. The sail is different for the. Yes, and we take care like about our food, and we take care like women like to be with nails, hairs, you know, take a shower, sometimes clothes. This is very interesting because we are together to do this time of kind of things. But another thing, probably in the book of Mormon, they talk about, women have her jealousies. You know, jealousies?
Jealousy.
Yes, sometimes why they are better than me, I know. You know, the woman is hard to be, and we need to talk a lot about that. And this is more interesting things happens in Phoenicia because we always think like a team. We need to be strong together and to do things for keep the boats going. But one thing is really hard for us to go to the restroom, the toilet.
I'm sure there's a lot of the ladies out there going, okay, you're with a whole bunch of guys on this ship, and how do you have some privacy so you can take care of your personal, needs?
When I arrive, we all take care. We put some towel or something for change our clothes. After a few days, we don't care because they don't look. No, everybody is the same. Yeah. You don't need to. You must take care of each other, like health, food, and but we don't care anymore.
So the guys were very respectful.
Very respectful
for you, and that helped you feel comfortable.
Yes.
About being on the ship with everybody.
And one thing, the first voyage we have bank, for it's not a
hammocks.
Hammocks.
Yeah, built-in bunks.
Yeah. Bunks. Thank you. It's a bank. Bunks, and you and I we sleep in the same bank. And we put our stuff, cameras, everything in one other. And the Alice and Daniel too, they sleep in the same bed. We can have our privacy for sleeping together. This is good for a couple.
Absolutely.
Because we feel safe. For me, of course, I'm married with him for a long time. When I feel scared, because it happens, for sure, you have a strong wind and
Water coming in and
yes,
ship rocking.
I can trust in Yuri, but we can trust in Philip as well, because Philip is a very good captain, and we always talk with him. He's very open for us, and he show what's going on and everything.
So did you have a hard time sleeping sometimes? Or you were so tired you just fell asleep?
Yes, like that. We are so tired, sleep hard, I don't know if I have time, but one thing I know John's like when I talk about when the sails ripped in the middle.
Yes.
Me and Aziz, do you know Aziz? Yes, we are together in the helmet. He's in the port side. No, I'm the port side, and it's strong wind coming. We are in the good rope place in close Cape Town, and we did 10.7 knot. It's really, really strong speed, a lot of speed for Phoenicia boat. And we look at each other, we know something happens because we are sailors. When the sail is so full of wind, we need to put,
lower the sail or
Roll
reduce
the
the.
sail.
Reduce the sail space, yes.
Yeah, reduce the sail. And we cannot do anything because just us alone and at the cockpit. Okay, and when it happened, the sails ripped, just Philip come out from the galley and say, oh my God, all hands on deck, and everybody works together. That time it's amazing. Everybody, we take care of the ship, we take care of each other. This is really good.
Yeah, there was a time in the Book of Mormon where they had a big storm, and they thought they were going to all die. So did you ever have any times like that you felt like this may be it for us?
No, I don't feel like that. The second voyage, because the Phoenicians get old, like us.
Yeah, she's getting a little more.
And in the second voyage, I entered in the boat in the Dominican Republic until Florida. When our time, we need to check all the places of the boat because it's leaking inside. This is, I feel uncomfortable because I think, well, maybe some would split. We are going very fast because Phoenicia's heavy boat go very fast. This second voyage. It's more the sea is very calm, but the boat is not strong anymore. But she was.
Wow. Well, okay, and then also there's how I found out about the Phoenicia was actually through Keith Johnson, and so you I think Yuri mentioned that. How did you meet Keith Johnson? Did you know him on the voyage?
Yeah, I met him on the voyage. Yes, he sailed for us from Mayotte near Madagascar all the way to South Africa, the first port, Richards Bay. Yeah, and that's a funny story. Yeah, how I met him. So in Mayotte, it's 2 islands, right? It's French territory, and we originally left from Oman, Salalah, supposed to be like 2 weeks journey to Zanzibar, but then of course pirate attacks on the Somali, whole area. We had to go like 1,000 miles away from Somalia to be safe because we had these reports every day. Every day there was an attack. It's crazy. They said there was 1,500 Somali pirate ships in the area. Yeah, so that's NATO. So that's you don't want to be.
That's interesting. I always thought it was maybe like a couple of dozen Somali pirates out there.
They have the big ships, the mother ships, and then they put the skiffs. So it's at that time it was like
they
1,500
from the skiffs.
Yeah.
On the mothers. Wow.
Yeah, they're just as deadly. You have a
so this piracy is actually a really big business.
Oh yeah, we make a lot of money. And on those days, it was 2009. They hijacked, I think, a ship from Dubai, and the guys paid like $30 million for that. So they were really excited about, get more. And that was.
Well, anytime somebody actually pays them, then that actually encourages them to continue to do it, because now they've got even more money to do it with.
And I think, why would they be interested in a Phoenician ship? We had no money, of course, but they were like 1,000 miles from home. So any water or food, it's a treasure when you're out there, right? So they would attack us just for the water, I guess. So we didn't like to take any chance. So we sail blind, no radar, no radio, no lights at night. So totally trying to, So instead of 2 weeks, we had to go do 8 weeks to go to this place. So we got there. We didn't accept any woman aboard during this Somali crossing, because it would be tougher for a woman, of course. So we get to Mayotte, and a few days we're waiting for these crew members to arrive. American couple plus Keith was coming, other people. And then there was a little bar there in the Yacht Club, a small place, and I was there, and there was a guy very loud. So I was loud and talking, very happy to be there, of course. I said, you are here for Phoenicia, right? I said, how do you know? Because you fit. Yeah, so that's
He's a loud American here.
Who speaks American here? Yeah.
How many languages do you speak anyway?
Well,
you both speak several languages.
Yeah, I can communicate.
Because do you know Italian?
Yeah,
Italiano?
Yeah.
You parli italiano?
Sì. Little French, a little Spanish.
Some French?
Yeah, Japanese, yeah.
And Japanese?
Some Arabic that we pick on the voyages, of course.
Well, you speak English, very, very well. Both of you are,
he better.
We try to learn.
No, tell them about the story about how you learn Indonesian singing. Why you learn Indonesian.
Well, so many stories.
Yeah, it's just funny.
I don't know if I have time for this, but so anyway. So I had this plan, right? Because we were sailing in Somali waters. And when I was there, it was 50 degrees Celsius outside, so sun, and I got very tan. It was very, very dark. So almost like Indonesian. I can pass because my father is Japanese, so I had this. So I was sailing there, and I think, okay, so what happens if the pirate gets us? So we had the 5 Omani sailors with us from the Royal Omani Navy. Sultan Qaboos gave us to us to train. We had 3 Indonesian guys, which is Dirman Sohan and Aziz. They're nice guys, of course, good sailors. And there was Philip from England. There was Nicholas from Sweden, and me from Brazil, Italian, also Italian. So I thought, because these guys catch us, the Omanis and the Indonesians, they are Muslims, so they wouldn't be so bad on them because, same faith and stuff. So they would be bad on the Europeans because the money comes from them, they're handsome. So what if I'm also Indonesian? I have already the looks, I'm kind of dark. So I got to Dirman. Dirman, can you teach me some songs in Indonesian? Because like if we're together, they don't know Indonesian. If we sing together, I think I can pass. So, Balangku ada 5 haparupa warna. So I was
sing for us.
Yeah. Balangku ada 5 haparupa warna. So I was trying to learn some, so I can pass as I throw my passports away and I just, happily nothing happened, but I had a plan.
But the fact that you feel that you need a plan shows that the preparations involving doing a voyage like this. This is not something you just one day wake up and say, "Gee, I think I'm going to go on a ship."
Yeah, everybody was very scared during that crossing, the 8 weeks. Everybody was so scared because you saw a light on the horizon, and the light, until it was high enough, it turned out to be a star. If it could be a pirate ship, everybody was like speechless. Everybody was like scared. Yes. It was
silence and
just,
oh my goodness, that is it is interesting how that changes the dynamics when you have pirates involved. Yeah. So let's turn to you guys for just a second, because you didn't have to worry about pirates.
We didn't have to worry about pirates.
No.
We had a storm, and the mast was damaged, and so we had to make an emergency unscheduled stop in Algiers. So the storm was interesting, and
I know some of this, so I'm not going to be too leading, but what's the big deal about having to stop in Algiers?
Well, Algiers is a closed country, and we didn't have visas.
Somebody was saying that they got arrested. That was you, wasn't it?
That was a different voyage.
Oh, different voyage. Okay. So
as we approached the port of Algiers, we were met by a gunboat and escorted into a secure dock and given a guard detail and sort of put under house arrest.
Wow.
On the boat.
Okay, what did you think about that?
Yeah, it
I'm
was
too
all part of
young
the
to die.
adventure for me, man. We're coming up to Algiers, and one of the biggest things I remember people were saying on the boat was that we didn't have an Algerian flag to be able to hang. So it was actually really funny. I remember going on my phone. We were close enough to the port to the point where I had internet, and I searched a picture of an Algerian flag, and we printed it out on something. I don't even remember what it was. Do you remember this? Yeah.
Paper.
And we hung it up.
Hang it up.
Yeah.
You got a paper flag, Algerian flag on the ship. Oh my goodness, that is awesome. So you had a printer on board. That was a good thing that you had a printer. Oh my goodness, that is awesome.
So it was an interesting coincidence. My sister had just completed, and her husband, a term of service in the Algerian embassy, the U.S. embassy in Algiers.
Oh,
and so they had been released from that post about just a year before we arrived on the scene. And so I put in a call into her and said, "Hey, do you have any friends in Algiers?" And that first day, some of her friends from the embassy showed up with fresh food, chickens, cheeseburgers. We had sort of depleted our fresh supplies out of Tunisia, and so that was kind of a nice.
So this is how many days into the voyage were you at that point?
Was it a week?
Like a week. That's what I'd want to say.
We're about a week into it.
Yeah.
Wow.
So.
Wow.
It was interesting. It was good though.
All right, so I got to ask you another question because both you and Boyd have spoken about this big storm, but and Boyd talked about basically feeling like he had his life pass before him. The ship moved this direction, he was out over the water, and then just before he dropped, the ship moved back over underneath him, and he dropped down onto the deck. It was like, yay! Did you have any kind of experiences like that, Carson? What do you think?
Close to going overboard?
Yeah.
The closest I came to going overboard was probably during the storm. My father loves to tell stories about this, but you
not so much.
well, I like it too. But the waves during the storm were what, like 6-7 feet high? Something like that. And the boat doesn't have any stabilizers on it, so it's tossing and turning the whole way. We're staying in hammocks down beneath the deck. And beneath the deck, you maybe have, in the living space, maybe like a 5-foot roof. And these are sitting somewhere in the middle, you know? Tossing and turning so much, you're going back and forth and back and forth. Finally, I caught enough momentum to do a full loop, you know? And that's the only time in my life I've ever gotten seasick. So I had to stumble out of my hammock, climb up the deck, and I'm rushing, you know, because I feel it.
You're hurt because you're about to feed the fish.
Yeah, go right over to the rail, and I'm hugging it for dear life, puking over the side. And that was
there I was.
Camera in hand.
And
the dad moment.
Yeah, but that was the closest I came to going over.
Did you take any pictures?
We have a lot of pictures.
I mean, of that?
No.
Okay.
No.
It's too dark.
A little too busy, too dark, and then
Philip told us not to go overboard.
Yes.
He told us to be careful, to hang on to the side. So I'm not sure what Boyd was doing, but we didn't want to have that moment.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Because this is the real deal. I mean, if you go overboard, what happens?
The storm was at its worst at night, through the night, and the Phoenicia is a slow lumbering boat. If you go overboard, you sort of disappear in the darkness. And to slow that, we had a sea brake deployed. So
which is kind of like a sail that you put into the water that pulls backwards.
Right. So to turn the boat around in the storm that's blowing us,
it's not even possible.
It wouldn't even be possible. And so you'd be completely separated from the ship in the dark, in the storm, with little chance that we couldn't have recovered the person overboard. And so you'd be dependent on some emergency rescue operation, and those become challenging.
Yeah. Wow. So I mean, you have to be very serious about this when you're doing this. You stay on that boat.